Hello, my name is Henk the Graaf. This is the second of a number of videos with some educational information about grain aeration. The first video we talked about resistance in grains, and that consisted of the type of grain you're storing as well as the height of the grain column. The next question we need answer is, what do you really want to do with your aeration system? Because there's quite a bit of difference between the three known types of grain aeration. The easiest one to follow would be an Aeration Maintenance Air. Now, maintenance basically does all it says it does. It maintains the grain in the condition you put it into the silo, with a little bit of airflow, basically moving out a little bit of hot spots in there. It evens out the temperature in your grain a little bit, but it doesn't do a lot more for that. And for that, obviously, you only need a small amount of airflow. Anywhere between 1 and 2 liters per second per ton will do that job. And a lot of silos that are in existence, probably that's all they've got. Now, there's obviously another thing that you may want to do. You may want to cool your grain. Now, cooling grain is important if you want to minimize the risk of weevil growth. It's well known that bringing the temperature down to about 18 degrees will almost negate, will almost avoid having any further weevil growth. To do that, you need to cool the grain. Now, obviously, it's important that to do that, you need to take the heat of the kernel on the outside and move it out in a movement of a front through the silo. It normally starts at the bottom, it moves all the way up to the top of the silo, and as the front moves through, the grain below the front gets cooler, and as you push it through, obviously the heat will push through to the top. Ultimately, you would get that air comes out, as you would probably see from here, where the air comes in from the silo here, and the fan at the bottom pushes it in, comes through the silo, and gets out the top through the fill lid. Now, to do that with a fan, you need about 3 to 4 liters per second per ton in order to achieve something. One thing to keep in mind as well, you may want to say, oh, if it's 3 to 4, I'll just go for 3. Keep in mind that you never have a fan that's too big, because all it will do, it will move the cooling front through your silo even quicker. And once it's gone through, it stops. So you're not spending any more energy. So that's your cooling. And remember also, when you're talking about a larger fan and the ability to put more cool air to in a shorter period of time, you're also more capable of picking the right time for that cool air. You may have a month in which you may have 3 or 4 days that it's really, really cool. Well, you want all that cool air to use in your silo, and don't find out that because you've taken a smaller fan, now you can only do 3/4 of a silo. Now, the third type of aeration is drying. Now, drying is much more complex, because if you consider what you do with drying, you need to suck the moisture out of the center of the kernel and bring it out to the outside and then move it up. To do that, you need a hell of a lot more air. And when I talk a hell of a lot more, we move from 3 to 4 liters per second per ton to 10 to 15 liters per second per ton. So now we're talking about some serious airflow, and that brings it all the way up. Now we've decided what we want to do. It's important to then realize how we can actually get to that. And for that, there is some more information I want to share with you. It's talking about the fan selection. And we'll leave that for the next session. Thank you.